Sandwich.
No, sorry.
Sandwich.
No. Ouch. Call your friend. Call your friend.
This gorgeous Korean travel blogger just shared her recent trip to India. And man, what started as an exciting adventure turned into a complete nightmare. In just a few days, she dealt with non-stop stalking, creepy harassment, and scam after scam. And if that wasn't bad enough, the whole thing ended with a nasty car accident. She went there curious about a different culture, but instead got a crash course in misery. One thing after another kept going wrong, pushing her deeper into despair until she finally broke down crying on camera, shouting, "I hate India."
Are you fine, man?
Yeah, I'm crying.
Why?
Guys, I hate India.
So she lands in New Delhi, India's capital. And on her first day, she decides to take a stroll and check out the local scene. But before she knows it, this seemingly innocent woman and a bunch of kids surround her. Before she can even process what's happening, they're quickly dabbing colorful marks on her forehead and cheeks. At first, she thinks it's some kind of local cultural thing, but she quickly realizes something's not right. Hands start reaching out demanding money. And get this, one of the kids actually tries to stick his hand right into her bag. What seemed like a friendly welcome instantly turns into this elaborate scam. These kids were acting like total brats, and she felt genuinely scared for the first time. They were like a pack of hungry wolves, ready to pounce and grab whatever they could get their hands on. Luckily, there was a cop nearby on duty, so she rushes over for help. But even with the police trying to shoo them away, these kids just wouldn't quit. They kept following her around like they were silently saying no money, no freedom. This blatant harassment left her feeling both furious and helpless. And her impression of the city was already getting pretty dark. Some good people couldn't stand watching this anymore and stepped in to help chase the kids away. But these little troublemakers were like sticky tape that just wouldn't come off. They were obviously part of some organized operation and had developed seriously thick skin. They weren't scared of anyone's threats. And some locals even tried bribing them with tips. Seeing her getting surrounded by more and more people, she had no choice but to buy a ticket and hide inside a tourist attraction to finally shake off those persistent little scammers. But just when she thought she could safely leave, right outside the attraction, she gets targeted by a group of students. They start following her, constantly shouting, "Wait up," which made her pretty nervous at first. But she quickly figured out these students just wanted to take a selfie with a foreigner. Right after the photo, this sketchy-looking Indian dude slides up to her. She immediately goes on high alert, clearly refusing whatever he wanted and telling him to back off. But this guy had thicker skin than a bathroom wall and just wouldn't leave. Even when she told him she was recording, he didn't care one bit and kept being a total pest. Finally, when he realized he wasn't getting anywhere, he actually tried to grab her hand. She wasn't having any of that and quickly dodged out of the way. But that was just the beginning. Her fair skin made her stand out like a sore thumb in the crowd. And every single day she went out, groups of men would just stare at her with these intense looks. Even though she was used to getting attention, it still felt super uncomfortable. What made it even worse was that kids started harassing her too. While walking down the street, some little boy suddenly pushes up against her and actually touches her. Even though they caught the kid red-handed, this was their turf. And in the end, the kid didn't rat out his buddies. She had to just swallow her anger and let him go. Turns out, in India, as long as you're the opposite gender, countless men will try to get close to you. Even though she found it incredibly annoying, the trip had to go on. The next day it was seriously hot, so she threw on a t-shirt and shorts to go sightseeing, completely unaware that this outfit choice was about to cause her way more trouble. While walking around, this street food stall caught her eye. There were quite a few people sitting there, so she decided to give it a try. The vendor enthusiastically invited her to sit down and taste the food. As for how it tasted, well, let's just say the extra experience that came with this meal was way more memorable than the actual food. The more she ate, the more something fell off. No wonder she kept smelling this awful stench. She looks up and realizes the stall is directly across from a 5-star public restroom. She just shook her head in disbelief, quickly left, and wandered into the local neighborhood. However, her casual summer outfit immediately drew even more attention from men. They stared at her without any shame, their looks direct and bold. She tried to ignore the discomfort, spent 30 rupees on some fresh-cut papaya from a street vendor, hoping the food would distract her. After just a few steps, this guy in a red shirt comes up to her trying to sell ear cleaning services. She'd already seen this type of scam online, so she firmly turned him down and kept walking, wanting to experience the real side of the city. As evening approached and she was getting ready to head back to her hotel, she suddenly noticed this girl in black following her. At first, she didn't think much of it, figuring the girl was just looking for a bus. But when she casually glanced back, she realized the girl was still trailing behind her. Her heart started racing, sensing something was wrong. She deliberately picked up her pace, and wouldn't you know it, the girl sped up too. The distance between them kept getting smaller. When she suddenly turned around, the girl pretended to be looking at something else and slowed down. Finally, she'd had enough and turned around to confront her directly.
What? Hey, what? You want to say something to me?
You want to say something?
Then why are you
बोलना है?
following me?
You want to say something? मतलब कुछ बोलना है क्या इसे?
Why are you keep following me? You want to say something to me? Okay.
The girl in black's intentions were pretty obvious. She was there to steal something, but got busted before she could pull it off. Feeling the danger, she decided to get out of that area immediately, but the taxi drivers started jacking up their prices. The ride-sharing app clearly showed 100 rupees, but the drivers were asking for double. She didn't want to spend the extra money, so she ended up choosing some Indian guy's motorcycle. Even though she felt uneasy about it, she needed to get away fast, so she gritted her teeth and got on. The girl was still pretty pleased with herself for negotiating the price down, completely unaware that trouble was creeping up on her. She put on that helmet that was all shiny with hair grease, climbed onto the motorcycle with excitement, her laughter ringing through the air. But just when she thought everything was going smoothly, some random guy forcefully squeezed onto the bike. Now she's sandwiched between two men, left and right, making her feel incredibly awkward and uncomfortable. While she's still confused about what's happening, the driver tells her that the guy who squeezed on was trying to steal her phone. That's when it really hit her how messed up this was. The capital city of New Delhi had so many bad people it was ridiculous. Knowing she couldn't stay there any longer, the next day she bought some snacks and caught a long-distance bus to Jaipur. The bus environment was pretty rough and dirty, but the 3 passengers she was traveling with were actually pretty cool. They even gave her bananas and other snacks. They were chatting and taking photos to pass the time. But right when the bus got on the highway, another incident happened. She and this Indian guy got kicked off the bus by the driver. She was totally confused and asked, "Isn't this the highway?" But the bus just drove away without looking back. The crazy part is she wasn't even scared. She actually thought it was kind of interesting. Passing truck drivers kept slowing down, saying they could give her a ride, but the men couldn't get on. Obviously, she wasn't about to get in a truck by herself. After walking along the highway for a while, they finally got help from a good Samaritan who gave them a ride. After dealing with that mess all night, the next day she got back on another bus. When she got off the bus, a natural outdoor restroom warmly welcomed her arrival. She found a rickshaw and agreed on 50 rupees to get to her hotel, but turns out the driver had those classic Indian genes too. He went back on his word and demanded 100 rupees. Looking across the street at her hotel, she thought she was finally starting a fresh, new chapter of her journey. But she had no idea that the very next day when she stepped outside, she'd get knocked down by a motorcycle. This guy in blue was driving recklessly and slammed right into her, sending her flying. Her tailbone was in serious pain and she couldn't even get up. There were tons of people watching, but the guy who hit her just stood there from a distance, not even bothering to come over and check on her. Fortunately, there happened to be a documentary film crew nearby. When they saw what happened, they immediately came over to help. They had an ambulance and emergency medical equipment with them, so she got quickly loaded up and checked out. The police showed up to handle the situation and caught the guys who caused the accident. After some back and forth, she suggested that the person who hit her should take her to the hospital for a full checkup. She was worried something might be wrong with her spine. After filling out the police report, the cop actually told the guy who hit her to take her to the hospital on his motorcycle. She thought that was absolutely ridiculous. She was in serious pain, and they still wanted her to ride a motorcycle. The guy's friend kept reassuring the police that everything would be fine. She had no choice but to get on the bike. Even more frustrating, the guy who caused the accident was still driving dangerously, chatting with his friend along the way like nothing had happened. When they got to the local hospital, supposedly the best one around, this doctor who claimed to be a department head examined her. She emphasized that her lower back was really hurting, but the doctor seemed pretty careless. Actually, he was being incredibly half-hearted about it. He just briefly felt around the painful area, decided there was no bleeding, and said some painkillers would do the trick. She was stunned and asked for a full examination, at least a CT scan, but the doctor insisted she go home and take the medicine first. If it got worse, she could come back tomorrow. She was completely baffled, took the medicine, and got sent back to her hotel. After resting for a day, the shock and emotional stress caught up with her, and she got sick in this foreign country. Her voice was hoarse, her forehead was slightly warm, and she clearly had a fever. Being in this foreign place, she felt more helpless than ever before. So she made a snap decision to go home immediately. As she got on the motorcycle to the airport, her eyes welled up with tears, and she felt this wave of sadness wash over her. This whole experience had been like a nightmare, leaving her physically and emotionally drained. All she wanted was to get out of this place as fast as possible.
I hate India!
I hate India? Why? What are you saying? Why you hate India? Why hate India?
A lot of people want to scammer me. Scam everywhere.
Yeah, you are so beautiful, that's why.
No way.
No.
The reason is that I'm a foreigner.
Man, what a crazy journey that was, right? This Korean blogger went from being all excited about her India trip to literally breaking down on camera. I mean, after everything she went through, honestly, I get it. You know what really hit me though? Those kids constantly hassling tourists for money. Like, it just breaks my heart, you know? These little ones should be running around playing, not out there trying to scam foreigners just to survive. But dude, mad props to this blogger. She's tough as nails for keeping that camera rolling through all that chaos. Takes real courage, for real. Oh, but hold up. Before you bounce, I gotta tell you about this other video I just dropped. It's about another Korean blogger, but this time she went to rural China, and oh my god, the difference is just, wow. So get this, the kids there, instead of asking for money, they're literally sharing their snacks with her and showing her how to wash her hands in the stream. I'm talking genuine smiles, locals giving free rides, beautiful roads, even in the middle of nowhere. It's like a completely different planet compared to what we just saw in India. Trust me on this one. After watching what happened in India, the China video is going to make you feel so much better about humanity. Anyway, what do you think? Let me know in the comments. I actually read all of them. And hey, if this story got you as hooked as it got me, hit that like button and subscribe. And definitely check out that China video. Seriously, the contrast is mind-blowing. Alright, catch you guys later.